everyone, welcome to what is a video on the Devil's Eye production YouTube channel. I know what you're thinking, I don't know where he's gone, where have you been? Basically I just thought I'd make a video on Sheffield Wednesday and where we're at the minute, because it's been so long since the last video on this channel. I think it was a matchday vlog from early last season, I think, when we still had Darren Moore in charge, and haven't things changed since then. So yeah, I knew I wanted to make a video on the new manager, the new gaffer, Gisco Munoz, sorry if I'm pronouncing that right, probably not. Any Spaniards, please let me know how you correctly spell that name, because I did Spanish at GCSE and I still haven't got a clue. So yeah, but I thought I'd make a video on him, basically just saying what I think we can expect from him. I'm not going to pretend that I knew everything about him, but I also subsequently didn't have to Google who he was. I knew that he was the Watford manager that took them up one time and then got sacked. So that could be any manager in the history of football, couldn't it? Let's start off by talking about his interview that's just come out. I didn't want to make a video on him until I sort of heard him talk about Sheffield Wednesday. I've seen him talk in previous interviews, but I wanted him to hear what he had to say about this particular project. And I want to start off by just a word on Dipon Chansiri, because some of the things that he comes out with really astound me every time he sort of outdoes himself, which I think, you know, fair enough at the end of the day when you're that committed to world implosion. Fair enough for his commitment, because he clearly, every time something looks remotely positive, he looks to try and spin it right on its head. And I mean, I don't disagree with the comments he made, but there's a time and a place, and a new manager press conference, when your new manager sat right there awkwardly for 20 minutes, isn't that time. He could have done that in a separate statement. I don't really know. I know the Sky journalist has been a typical Sky journalist and wanting to provoke him and prod the bear, and I mean, he got a hell of a lot out of that bear, didn't he? So yeah, other than that, I was quite pleased with what he said. I was pleased with his response as well. Munoz, really sort of captain material almost. I don't know if he was a captain at Valencia and other clubs he's played at, but it seemed very much like a captain sort of response to everything. We've got to move forward. There's a new era for the club, which was great. Really appreciated that. And then obviously there wasn't much in there, and then it went on to the interviews with local journalists, and I've just listened to the one on Spotify with Rob Staten, and that was a great interview. I really liked that, talking a little bit more about what you can expect from him. Attacking football, he said, 3-5-2 or a 4-3-3. I'd prefer him to go with 4-3-3, and I'll explain a little bit why later. But I was really pleased with the way he talks about football. He says he doesn't want possession for the sake of possession. He wants to move with the ball. Probably a lot more attacking than Darren Moore, who I quite like Darren Moore in the end, but it was a little bit pragmatic at times. And I think certainly with some of the players we've got, Josh Windass, Barry Bannon, Malik Wilkes, sort of those kind of creative players being told to just play how you want to play, as vague as that might sound, sometimes can benefit those kind of players. So a little bit why I think he'd be better off with a 4-3-3. I think if you look at our squad and the way it is now, with the limited players that we've got, I think that a 4-3-3 would suit us a little bit more. I always had trouble with the wing-backs, and Johnson and James, and particularly obviously both just signed new contracts. I always thought that Johnson would be a better winger and James a better fullback, and I think a 4-3-3 obviously caters to that. Playing with wing-backs, I think it was sort of be square pegs and round holes kind of thing, but I think a 4-3-3, I think you've got to keep that midfield three. You've got to keep, if they're all fit, Bannon, Vokes, Byers. I think you've got to keep that, because that's going to be the core of the squad in my opinion. And then probably as well, Cameron Dawson in net. I like a Heckway at centre-half. Can we play with a back four? Obviously we've tried and it's failed over the last couple of years, certainly in League One, because we want to play out at the back, and we didn't have the cover of a back four, so we had to move to a back five. And to be honest, I've always preferred a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, either one of those two. I've never really liked five at the back. Seems a little bit pragmatic for me. I'm okay with us having one up top, one striker. I think two strikers now is a little bit dated these days. But I mean, even if we do only play with one striker, I still think we need another one. I don't think that Smith and Gregory is enough on its own. I think Gregory, at the age he's in now, you can't really expect him to play more than 30 games in a season. And then Michael Smith maybe isn't a championship striker. I don't really mean. I know he got 20 goals last season, but I mean, he didn't even stand out in League One as a really great striker. So I don't know if he'll be able to make the step up to the championship that some people, or that would be demanded of him, because obviously now playing at a high level. And it depends on the aspirations of the club, you know, where do we want to sit this season. If you were to offer me now 21st, I wouldn't take it. I don't think. I want us to be a little bit better than that, a little bit more comfortable than that. I'd probably take anywhere 18th or above, really. If you just like an abstract league position, 52, 53 points maybe, that's okay. Above the 50-point mark, you've had an okay season for your first year back. He talks about short and long-term, mid and long-term goals as well, which I was really happy with. He's got a clear plan and hopefully long-term vision, even though he's never filled a season out before, which is the one thing that I really take a bit of a problem with, because yes, he did really well at Watford, and I think he did really well and was harshly sacked. I remember at the time they were 15th or something and he got sacked. I remember thinking, this is just such a Watford thing to do, and they ended up going down. Listen, would he have kept them up? I don't know. There were still 28 games left in the season, but I think you can certainly hedge your bets that he'd be more likely to stay up than whoever it was that took him over. I don't really remember who it was. But I know that Watford fans are indifferent on him. Some of them really like him. Some of them say he was a vibe merchant and we won games off of vibes. I don't think that's true. I think that's probably a harsh way of looking at it. Listen, I'm not a Watford fan. I can't talk for his time there as much as or as eloquently as they can, but certainly from the way I see it, I think that's a harsh rating of a man that took them back to the Premier League and could have kept them there but didn't really get the full opportunity to. Similarly to how I suppose Darren Moore can be viewed after his time at Wednesday, took them up and then didn't really get a chance in the new division. But I think ultimately, he's got a long-term plan, which is good. Whether he'll be allowed to play that out, I don't know. Recruitment, again, I don't know. Is he going to have to stick to the list that we've already made, or is he going to be allowed to bring his own players in? I think we'll be able to tell that even if he doesn't outright say. I think if we bring in a lot more, maybe players of the Spanish ilk, then I think he'd probably lean to say, right, okay, he's got some of his own ideas for the transfer window. I've heard he's bringing in a couple of his own recruitment team as well, which will be good, and just general coaching staff. I think we need that. I think we need a bit of an overhaul. I like Neil Thompson, I like Nicky Weaver, but other than that, I'm not really sure who's left, to be honest, after Darren Moore took his entire fleet with him. But I think overall, he's got to be given a bit of time, and I don't like to use the word project because I think it suggests that that's just a cop-out for not getting results. It's a project, similar to the Arteta thing, the trust the process kind of idea. I don't necessarily always buy into that, but to be honest, I've been crying out for a manager like him for a while, because obviously the first two managers that Chansiri appointed were Carlos and Joss, who Carlos was, I like Carlos. Jusco gives me great Carlos vibes almost, sort of in the way he speaks and his sort of demeanour. I was really pleased with that. And then obviously he also was a car crash. And then after that, we've been all English managers, and I wanted someone foreign, someone perhaps a little bit flamboyant maybe, to just sort of lift the energy up and play on the front foot for the first time in 6 years, And I think we've got that. And we've got a young manager. He's got a point to prove. He's done well previously where he's been. Talks highly of the club. I think it's a good appointment. So yeah, I'm going to end the video here, guys. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please like and subscribe. There may be another video on the channel. There may not. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. Maybe if there is, it'll be more gaming content. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Up the owls. See you later.